My grandfather once gave me a strange piece of advice. Never just save money. This is the story that taught him and me why. In a quiet farming village, there lived an old man everyone called lazy. He didn't have a job. Most days, he sat under a wide tree on a broken chair, staring into the distance. He talked endlessly about plans that never moved beyond words. "One day I'll open a store," he'd say. "One day I'll buy land, cows, and make money without working myself to death." That one day never arrived. At first, people laughed. Later, they stopped laughing and started feeling sorry for him. His wife often shook her head and said, "Life isn't built on dreams, it's built on effort." He would shrug and reply softly, "Someday I'll figure it out." But years passed, and life only grew harder. One cold night, his young grandson, thin, barefoot, and tired, whispered, "Grandpa, is there any bread?" The grandmother opened the cupboard. It was empty. The old man lowered his eyes. His throat tightened. Dreams couldn't be eaten. Ideas didn't fill a stomach. That night, he didn't sleep. The next morning, carrying shame heavier than his body, he went to the fields to work as a day laborer. The work was brutal. The sun burned his skin. His back bent lower each day. His hands cracked and ached. Sweat blurred his vision. Standing in the field, he muttered, "This feels like a chain." At night, he returned home silent and exhausted. Dinner was always the same, beans and 2 tortillas. Never more. His grandson hugged him and asked, "What did they give you today, Grandpa?" The old man looked at the small coins in his hand. "Not much," he said, "but it's something." Yet the money never stayed. Illness swallowed it. Food consumed it. Emergencies erased it. Week after week, the pay came and vanished. The roof still leaked. Hunger stayed. One afternoon at the village store, he overheard men speaking confidently. "The secret is saving," one said. "If you save money, you're protected." Those words stayed with him. That night, he found a large glass jar and hid it under the bed. Each week, after buying only the bare minimum, he dropped a few coins inside. The sound made him smile. For the first time, it felt like hope. One day, the grandson found the jar. "What's this, Grandpa?" "Our future," the old man said proudly. But saving came with pain. He didn't buy new shoes when his old ones fell apart. Food portions grew smaller. Plates were never full. Finally, the grandmother spoke out. "What good is saving if we're hungry?" He didn't look up. "One day you'll understand." Months passed. The jar filled. To him, it looked like safety. One morning at the market, he placed the money on the counter. "I want 3 sacks of corn." The seller counted the coins and shook his head. "Prices have gone up. This will only buy 1.5." The old man froze. "Money loses value," the seller said calmly. On the walk home, the jar felt heavier than ever. That night, he poured the coins onto the table and counted them again and again. They never grew. His grandson asked quietly, "So what's the point of saving, Grandpa?" The old man had no answer. Days grew darker. His strength faded. Sometimes he felt there was no path forward. One morning, sitting on the porch, he watched neighbors walk by. One carried eggs. Another carried bottles of milk. They moved without fear. Suddenly, he remembered something his grandson had once said. "What if we buy chickens?" This time, he listened. He took the last of the money and bought a few thin chickens. When he released them into the yard, the boy laughed and ran after them. "Our chicken factory!" the boy shouted. At first, they collected only 1 or 2 eggs a day. They ate some and sold the rest. With that money, they bought another chicken. The old man wrote everything in a small notebook. Every egg mattered. Soon, the yard was alive with noise. Neighbors came to buy eggs. For the first time, work felt meaningful. One afternoon, holding an egg, the old man said, "This is worth more than a jar of coins. It feeds us. It grows. It doesn't fade." The boy hugged him. "So you're not lazy anymore?" The old man smiled, his eyes wet. "No, my child, I finally learned." The jar stayed forgotten under the bed. And whenever people talked about saving money, the old man pointed to the chickens and said, Saving money is like holding water in your hands. It always slips away. Make it work, even if you start small. That's how the man once called lazy learned the greatest lesson of his life. Don't just save money, make it grow.